Now, in my research of John McCown, you would have thought that John McCown just said, I'm going to move to Sparta, Georgia. And I'm going to become an activist, and I'm going to march and help, get rid of Jim Crow. But in my research, I found out that wasn't true. In my research, I found out that Hancock County was one of the most important counties that they needed to vote to get the right people in to the Capitol so we can squash those Jim Crow laws.
Yes.
So, John McCown was a brilliant man, but he was a bad man. And in my study, and what I found, that John McCown was called to Hancock County. And so I had to research further to find out who brought him here. Because they said Hancock County was the hardest county out of the 6 counties they identified as black counties that they needed to push that vote through so they could change the laws. Hancock was the hardest to change the people over to get them to vote. Since 1868, Hancock County, over 100 years, they had not, the voting was like 1%. So, in my research, I went into the King Center. And in the King Center was an Ebony magazine book. And John McCown was on there with Martin Luther King. Like, what? All these times I came here, I never seen that.
Yeah.
But that's that divine intervention that showed me that.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, so what happened was I found out that that group that was leading our freedom march, all of those important people that were with Martin Luther King, they advised them, we got to find somebody for Hancock, but he got to be crazy enough to, he got to be, and that's the exact word, they say he got to be crazy enough to go there first, and he got to be a foolish enough to stand up and handle it. Because they were sending money to Hancock County for housing for everybody, to help get new houses, to get them out of those old shack houses and that oppressive housing. But Hancock County was holding the money and giving it to others. So John McCown came down in an old Chevrolet like he didn't have a penny to the world, but he was backed by the government. So they brought John McCown to Sparta. And John McCown's job was get them housing, get them out of those oppressive situations so they could be free. And they can vote without not having to worry that their house would burn down or they would be thrown out of that house. And so that was his job. And as you know, John McCown walked around with a rifle. Got a picture of it too. A lot of people didn't believe it, but John McCown walked around with a rifle, and we basically had a race war, and Jimmy Carter had to come down and try to disperse it. So I'm just going to say this on John McCown because I'm working on a larger study of Mrs. McCown, and we'll be here all day. So I commend you, John McCown, for giving your life and coming down and liberating us, because that's what he did. And one more thing, a book was written by him called Black Boss. And I'm a word player. I know what boss is, but I had to go back to the dictionary and read it again. And when I read it again, I got that epiphany that I said, oh, that's why he called it Black Boss. Because a boss is a person that's in charge of somebody. And so they were mad because they were the other boss, and he liberated our mind and took us away from there, and now they tried to label him and give him a bad name of Black Boss. So we're going to change that in the near future. He's going to be the liberator. We're going to strike through boss and put liberator, okay? So we commend you, John McCown. So I'm going to go through this real quick.